The money she paid me was very small. It was not even 5k. For all I did landing page, I ran the yard. I was monitoring the yard. God, 5k. I responded to the client with a long message. Explaining what I'm going to do, how I would do it, what should they expect, and the things like that. Of course, I was forming pro, but in my mind, I was like, all these things I'm telling you, it's not as if I've done it and it has actually worked perfectly, right? I just knew that this is how people do it. It's just tips. The thing about marketing is that hi guys, welcome to this episode. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about how I made my first 100k online, right? What I mean by that is how I made my first money working for myself. Working for myself, in that sense. Although I understand the fact that everybody works for someone, right? But I'm just saying that not how I made my first 100k not working directly under someone. I think that's the best way, a better way to put it. And why I say that everybody works for someone is because whether you are an entrepreneur, you're working for your users or your customers. If you are a worker or you are an employee, you're working for your company, right? So if you're as an entrepreneur, for example, if your users or your customers say no, they don't want this thing, you don't have a choice than to do what they want, right? Same thing applies if you are talking about your if you're working for your company. If your company say, oh, you don't want this, then you don't do it. So that's why I said that everyone who works for someone, whether you are an employee or you are an entrepreneur, there's no way to make money. There's no legal way to make money if you are not working for someone. So how I made my first 100k working under myself, but I'm still working for someone, of course, though not the employee thing, of course. So, in my last episode, I spoke about how 35k changed my life. If you've not watched that episode, I think you should watch it because it's going to give you an overview of how the whole thing began, right? We diving from data analytics to digital marketing, and then from there trying to do something of my own, working with a colleague. I shared a lot of stories there, right, in episode 1 and 2, and this is going to be episode 3. Right now, in this episode, like I said before, I'm going to be talking about how I made my first 100k. So, and well, of course, the value of 100k then was more than this, was more than what we have now, right? So, maybe now we could say how I made my first 250k just using the relative value of what I had then and to now, of course. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, in my last episode, I spoke about the whole thing about moving into digital marketing and learning a course. I mean, me buying a course which equipped me with all my all the skills or the major part of the skills that I used to develop myself well. You understand what I'm saying? So, I would say that uh, even while I was in school, right? While I was in school and I was almost done with school, it wasn't like I knew what I really wanted to do with my life. You might be someone, maybe you're in school and you're watching this, or maybe when you were in school and you were maybe your finals, you already knew what you wanted to do with your life. But I'm just talking about myself, right? I don't know what I was going to do with my life, and I was just I had what I thought I was going to do, but it was still a maybe case because there was no funds to even do it. And I was just hoping that maybe I'll just find a way out. I didn't just know. So I was readily available, to explore all the opportunities that came my way. So it was not as if I had the whole thing planned out, and when I finished school, I just, started what I was doing, and it wasn't like that. I mean, I would call it the blessing of confusion. Sometimes you can be confused, and because you are confused, it led you into your blessing. It happens like that, right? So I stopped in my last video on where I said I began to learn a course on digital marketing. I learned the course, and my first ever experience of practicing out the course. You know the way digital marketing works. If you don't have money, you cannot really practice digital marketing. You can just know it, and it's just head knowledge. You can't practice it because you are marketing. So if you're marketing, you are going to be spending money, right? So I needed to really practicalize the experience of learning digital marketing. Of course, who was I going to meet? Who was going to help me? I had to help myself, right? I spent my money that I was making from NYSC, right, to start running ads just to try to see or to test out what I was learning in the course. Do you understand? And this is where some people miss out on it, because they're not ready to part away with anything, and they want to get a greater reward. It doesn't work like that. In life, we all know already that in life there is sowing and there's reaping. So if you want to actually gain from something, you have to sow into that thing, right? So I was using the money I was getting from my service. I was using it to run ads for a course like that I didn't create. It was like an affiliate course that I was promoting for someone. I had spent maybe 10,000 or so, and had not make any sale yet. That minus the money I spent on the ad, I mean on the course I bought. Now, even before that time, before I spent money on the ad, I had also spent some monies to also learn how to use Shopify, right, to create the landing page, because I wasn't ready to use the normal website to buy a domain hosting. It was going to take more money. So instead of me doing that, I learned how to use Shopify to create a landing page for free, and I had known how to do all of that. So still from my own money, nobody has paid me anything yet on that knowledge I had. Nobody. So how did it happen? So I was just on Instagram one day after I'd learned some things. Okay, let me say I ran ads for a course. Of course, like I said, didn't get any sale. The people were just viewing the content, but there was no sale. And I felt like, in fact, I complained that time to one of my friends about how tiring I was, trying to run the ad. It was not working. Or I was using Facebook, and then the person was like, "Oh, maybe I should try Instagram." But more, I've been spending money now. If I try Instagram, I'll have to spend another money. And the point is just that in marketing, you can't learn marketing without you spending money. So, but I'd known some things already, even with the fact that we'd not gotten any. I mean, I had not gotten any practical sales from the ad I was running. I had known some things already. So one day I stumbled on an ad on Instagram. Someone was trying to run ads. That's about maybe after like 3 months, maybe 2-3 months of me trying to practice, learn, and master what I've learned. I stumbled on an ad, and the person was trying to talk about the issues that people face when trying to run ads on Facebook, and I'd faced some of those issues too, and resolved some and things like that. So I just made a comment right under the ad posts. I made a comment under the ad post on Instagram, and I commented as a reply, not even as a main comment, as a reply under someone's comment. So when I replied under the person's comment, the person checked my Instagram page, and the person felt like maybe I knew about the thing, maybe I knew more about the thing. So the person came to my DM, and from there we started talking, and she was my first client as a digital marketing person. To cut the long story short, right? She was selling stuff about. I mean, she was selling stuff. Let me not mention that so that we don't divert. Right? She wanted to run ads for some products, so she was asking if I was going to run ads for her, how much would I charge, and the thing, and etc. And I told her, okay, you know, it was my first client really. I was also kind of like, even if it's 5k or 10k I see from this client, it's part of it. I was just starting out, right? I told her the amount I was going to collect. She said, no, I'm going to give you so amount, like 50% of the amount. I collected it, and I did more than she even expected. I was trying to run the ad, it wasn't working well. We changed some things in the ad, we ran it again, it wasn't working well. We just did with all those things I was doing, I was gaining experience. The money she paid me was very, 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 very small. It was not even 5k. For all I did landing page, I ran the ad, I was monitoring the ad. God, 5k, and but the truth of the matter is that, like I always tell people, whatever you've not done for free or for almost free, nobody would pay you to do it. Like, nobody would pay you big money to do it, because they don't want to use their big money as an experiment on you, right? It is what you've done that can serve as a proof of their trust for that big money you are looking for. And it applies even if you are not a freelancer, if you are working full-time, if you're looking for a full-time role, you're applying to a company, and for that role you've not had any experience before, you just want them to trust you that you will deliver. It doesn't work like that. They would rather trust someone who has gained experience, even if the person was not paid for it, right? That's how life works. So back to my story, right? As I ran the ads and the likes, I think we worked together for like a month or so, or maybe 3 weeks or so. She now referred me to someone else. She had a friend who has at that time had about 16,000 followers on Instagram, and she was like, she has this friend though. The friend, she sells courses, but she doesn't know how to sell the course because she has not been getting sales. She has tried a lot of digital marketers that disappointed her and several other things. So because of the way I worked with her, and she saw that I put my mind in the work, I didn't exactly we didn't exactly get so much sales for her because of her product. But she saw how I was working on it. She saw the heart I put to the work. She saw the kind of vibe I was bringing to the work. Do you get? So she recommended me to this client, reached out to me, of course, and I responded to her. And I responded to the client with a long message, explaining what I'm going to do, how I would do it, what should they expect, and the things like that. Of course, I was forming pro, but in my mind, I was like, all these things I'm telling you, it's not as if I've done it and it has actually worked perfectly, right? I just knew that this is how people do it. It's just the thing about marketing is that you might be doing the right thing, but because you don't have funds to push your marketing, you might think that the right thing you are doing is wrong. And that's it. You might not know, but that's the fact. If you carry out a kind of strategy and you spend, say, 20k, the amount that will really make that strategy work might be 150k, and the strategy would work and give you maybe 500k or 700k. But because of your 20k, it won't even reach anywhere, and you just feel like, it's not working. And I think that was what I had as a major chunk of my experience, because I didn't have so much money, but I was just trying the little I knew, and I trusted that the little I knew was good enough to be tested with someone who wanted to use 100k for ads. Do you get? Now, the person trusted me. I created a sales page for her. She had not even paid me money yet. I created a sales page for her. I added her testimonials and the likes. Of course, I wouldn't do that now, right? I did that because I was just starting out and I wanted her to build trust in me, or I wanted to build trust. Do you understand? So, and those are some of the risks you take when you're just starting out in the career, and it applies to every career. You have to give out something for them to give you a benefit of doubt. That's the same ideology that comes with 7 days free trial. In that 7 day free trial, they are wasting resources. They are using resources. Don't let me say waste. They are using resources to provide you that service. Maybe you sign up online or something and they say, okay, 7 day free trial, 14 days free trial. That 14-day free trial, to them, it is not free. Oh. It is free to you, the user, but to them it's not free. But they know that if you try for 14 days and you like it, you would want to subscribe for more. Do you understand? So it's the same idea. I had created a landing page for her. I had done all those things, but she hadn't paid me a dime. Although I knew she had a lot of following on Instagram, and I just trusted that she was not going to disappoint me, after creating something and then she ghosts me, right? Of course, she couldn't even use what I created because I had the autonomy to disable it or not, because it was on my own website I used as a landing page because she was going to do. Of course. So we tried it, and to cut a long story short, we began the ad. And this ad, in the same day it was launched, she had a budget of 100k to run for like 3 weeks, or to run I think she first sent 50k. She said, let's see how it runs. And so we started out, and the same day we started the ad, she already made maybe 14k. The same day we started the ad. And how much are we spending on the ad? Maybe 3k in a day. So with that ginger, she was like, wow, so I could make 2 sales in a day now. And that was how it started. 3 sales per day, 4 sales per day, 5 sales per day, sometimes 2 sales per day, up to the extent that when we spend 100k, she makes like 450k in 3 weeks. And I was getting my own commission, right? We had agreement that I'm going to be getting about 10% of the sales that she makes. So if she makes 450k, 10% is like 45k, right? In 3 weeks. So in about maybe 6 weeks, if she makes 900k, have made 90k. And that was how. Sometimes she even makes more than 50k, she makes 500k with the same ad, with the same budget that we are running. And that was just how it started. And I started having some cash, and I started forgetting about Shapa. Do you understand? So that was just how I moved from a state of confusion, of not knowing what to do, right? Even when I was stuck in between maybe digital marketing or data analytics or so, to the stage where I now became someone, a coach online, trusted to help us sell a course, and that I get, commissions for. And I've been working with this client for a long time now, and even till date, sometimes we still work together, right? The point was, I was able to win her heart as a client, and that was just it. And she had even referred me to other people. This client has referred me to other people who I've worked with over the years, right? And that was, as I was doing that, of course, I was also running a company, training people on data analytics with my friend, right? Data line analytics and consulting. I was running with my friend, and I was in charge of the digital marketing campaign for the company, and I was also working with this client. Then later on, I started thinking that, let's say this client just says for one reason or the other she's not able to continue with me, maybe tomorrow, what is left for me to fall back to? Because even the company that I and my friend were running to train people on data analytics, we had revenue once in 3 months, because we take on registrations once in 3 months. So the revenue was just once in 3 months. So I started thinking again that if this client said, I'm not going to work with you again for the next, or something happened, I want to pause on the sale of my course, what would I do? Because already I've tasted what it meant like to be earning like maybe 100k monthly, working remotely, or even more than 100k monthly, maybe 150k, maybe 120k, sometimes. But the money is not always in lump sum. Today 40k, today 70k, today 50k, today, and that's how it works, right? So I started thinking that if this person says she's no more selling her course, or if the sales of her course drops, what would I fall back to? It now pushed me into learning e-commerce. So in my next episode, I'm going to talk more on how I moved into e-commerce, the challenges I faced in e-commerce, why I dumped it. I'll tell you why I dumped it, and I'll tell you the realities of how the whole thing, led me into where I am today. So you can see that my journey has been a roller coaster of a lot of ups and downs, a lot of confusion, a lot of trial and error, a lot of grit, and a lot of consistency. Of course, I'm still on the journey, right? But I'm just sharing this for someone who may find this useful and interesting, of course, and even instrumental for their own career too. So if you felt like you gained one or two things from what I've shared, you can share this video with someone, subscribe to this channel, and of course expect more videos and more content like this. Till my next episode again, see you in the next episode.